In this module, let's take a look at the Azure portals. So as we begin to learn how to administer Azure, the first place we'll logically begin is with one of the two Azure portals. And we'll begin with our first look at what's called the Classic portal. The Classic portal, which you can see here live, is the first portal that Azure released. And we'll just point out a couple of quick characteristics. Down the side here, we can see all the different types of objects. And then in the middle, there's a place where you can go administer and configure settings of different types of objects by clicking on an arrow key and then looking at various properties. Now, we'll take a look at this portal in a little more detail in a couple of minutes. But before we do, let's take a look at some of the major characteristics of this portal. The key thing you have to remember is that this portal uses what's known as the Service Management Model, or Azure ASM, Azure Service Management. This is significant because it changes things like the PowerShell commandlets you're going to use and the way that resources are deployed. This was the original deployment of Azure. It was often referred to as Azure version 1 or IaaS version 1. And everything that you deployed via this portal was wrapped up in what was called a cloud service. So we'll look right here. You'll notice it mentions that it was wrapped up in what was called a cloud service. The cloud service acted as a container for objects. So when you deployed, for example, a virtual machine, it was deployed within a cloud service, which is where things like the networking came from. It's where things like the IP addresses came from. And you manage these cloud services as a way of managing the virtual machines. The deployment was also linear, as in it was step by step. When you wanted to deploy something, you created the container, the IP address, the storage, the networking, the virtual machine. It was very sequential. It was done via scripting. So you focused on the flow of what you wanted to create from step one all the way through to the final step, however many steps were involved. That's what the Classic portal focused on. And there's a set of commandlets that are focused on this Azure Service Management Model. And the Classic portal is focused on the Azure Service Management Model. So let's take a look, take a tour around that Classic portal and just see what it looks like and what we can do.